Hello everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of our Express with Ease segment on View Viewer Vijayabhumi. It's a special weekly episodic segment where we discuss topics of great importance and that require immediate attention with students. Today being no different, we are going to discuss about an interesting topic and that's like a lot of the students can correlate with this thing about we are going to discuss about modern hobbies. So, what is something that you do that inspires you, gives you a purpose, and that you genuinely enjoy? That's your hobbies. They're just plain, simple, and fun ways to get the creative juices flowing out. So, what are the hobbies that excites the modern youngsters today? We have got that covered on this panel discussion. So we have with us Nikil Krishna, who is a youngster, and he is going to discuss, and we are going to discuss with him about what are the modern hobbies students are looking for, what are the trends, what are the shift in the trends, and what are the changes we have seen around the ancient hobbies and the modern hobbies. So welcome Nikil for today's panel discussion. It's glad to have you again on this on Express with Ease platform. So thank you for joining us for today's discussion. So starting with off, I just wanted to ask, we will start with this thing. Nikhil, what are your hobbies? On a personal level, what are your hobbies which you are passionate about? What do you do in your free pastime?
Okay, Aswini, that was a fabulous introduction. Thank you for having me again. So, this is a really interesting topic that we have taken on today, modern hobbies. It has become a really integral part of our daily lives today because, as you may already know, I think so. You are in your 20s right now, so you are born in the 90s. So, compared to me, I am born in 2005. So there's a huge contrast which I have noticed between these 10 years, or what they call the difference in generation. So
Yeah.
if you ask me about my hobbies, so let's see the list. Recently I have started to read books, which is a good thing because I think so reading books is considered as a fundamentally correct hobby. Everybody agrees that reading books is a good thing, there's no opposition to it. So
Yeah.
in
True.
that confidence I have started to read books. And I think so reading books is the second thing that has come, uh, it is the activity that has come to me that has raised my dopamine levels as high as social media. I am
Oh,
really loving it right now. Reading
good to
books,
hear that.
let it be many genres, let it be sci-fi, or let it be uh, fiction, non-fiction, novels, biographies, anything. That's the one thing that excites me right now, and I'm into it right now. Even though my 12th boards are going on right now, I'm like too much
Oh,
into books right now. So that's the thing that I relate to too much right now when others talk about reading books, their experiences, their feelings. I can relate to it too much in this stage. But before it, I think so I had the hobbies of writing as well. Making journals, blogging out my daily life, as you would say, and creating really short notes. I think so that's a really correct phrase. That
yeah.
just makes me take out my load of how my day has been to something else. Let it be a paper, let it be a person, anything. It just makes me feel like I have shared something which is in my brain to something or someone else. So that's a hobby that I really followed until now, and I love it very much. That, and I love traveling very much. I love to discover new places, and I have the freedom. Luckily, my family allows me to travel alone, so uh, that's the advantage that I have. So traveling is really like my go-to option when I'm like overworked out or burnt out or something like that. And I love that too. And the byproduct of traveling that comes along is another hobby. Probably you may not consider it as the tag hobby, but socializing is, I think so, is another hobby-ish. I may consider it as a hobby-ish because I love that too very much, to do in free time, to talk to others, to know their stories, to know their experiences, uh, to know the commonalities between another person. So that's a thing I really love to do. And yeah, and a lot of really small things that I do, but majorly these are the things.
Great. I guess that was a good bucket list of hobbies you have. Probably, as you mentioned about reading books, yeah, like lot of the I've seen a lot of the children in this age. Probably they escape from this hobby. Like it was a good hobby. People used to like. There are a lot of bookworms. There are like a lot of book readers across all the genres. Okay, book reading was a good hobby among the popular youngsters. When even just to correct yourself, like even I am also in the 2000s only. I'm not in the 90s.
Okay.
Okay, so probably, yeah, I have seen like the people who are in the like the generation above us, the generation above us, and the generation like our father, parents, even our elder brothers, so like who are in right now in their 30s or 35. So they were also very passionate about reading books. Even we used to get this comics, I guess, Champak, Chanda Mama. These are like were quite amazing comics, which was quite popular in our childhood days. So that was a good hobby to cultivate. And talking about, as you mentioned about, I guess socializing can be considered as a hobby because I feel networking, socializing is has its own importance, and like people love to just talk with people. People love to just interact with people. So I guess that's also a fabulous hobby to have. It's not only about you're building, you're just passing your time with some talking with some good people. Also, you're building a network. You're building a relationship with someone. Maybe you can leverage a network with in later point of your life. So that's a good hobby to cultivate around. There are some good wish list and hobbies you have, Nikhil. But just out of curiosity, I just wanted to ask, like, what was the last book you have read, and which genres are like a popular genres you are into?
Okay, so the last book I have read is called An Era of Darkness. It is a book
Oh,
about British rule in India, written by a really famous writer Shashi Tharoor, as you may know. The
oh,
MLA, the Congress,
yeah, yeah,
as they call him, the most the perfect English speaking person in
yeah. The
India.
person, yeah, the perfect Englishman.
I
Yeah,
love his interviews. I have seen his talk in Edinburgh University, his talk with a lot of book authors
yeah,
as well. I love that topic, and the way he writes is just wow. That it's like totally different from the way we speak. The way I see other writers write as well.
true,
That's
true,
the
true.
his English is just totally separate from others.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, he has got this power of words. Like he uses the
Yeah.
words quite indefinitely, quite better. That creates an impact. Not only about like I haven't read any of his books, but as you're explaining, like I also feel like the way he interprets to his speech, I guess the same also reflects from his writing as well. I feel like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes him
Yeah.
really distinguished from all the other writers. So I was reading this book. The book is totally about how British Empire entered India. As he considered them looted India,
Yeah.
and
The colonization of yeah.
yeah, all of that other topic. I love the history stuff as well. That's another genre I
That's
love.
right.
History, beat history, and another thing that is linked to history is geopolitics.
Yeah.
Uh, Geopolitics, and let it be even common politics. If you see it from a very neutral point, you may
Yeah.
get a lot of lessons from it that you may not get without seeing it. That's another genre I love.
True, great to hear that. No, like having interest towards history, contemporary history, and the Middle Ages, like it's quite interesting. Even we have like a lot of people have this habit or hobby of visiting museums. Okay, spending times in the archaeological places or places which have an historical importance, or the old places. So that's an also a good hobby. So probably as I can see from a fascination towards history, so that's a good hobby to cultivate around. Nice to hear that, Nikhil. Like, you sound me like a great person with multiple genres and like a mixture of different taste and different hobby culture. So that's great to hear that. Even like reading, I feel like going through the history is also about we are reflecting the old culture. Okay, we are preserving the culture. We are learning about the importance of culture. Okay, because going through the history is also like we have got a, as we know, India has got a pristine culture, pristine rich history. Okay, so going through that also feels us like, I feel a true Indian. It also like, at some points we feel like the patriotism factor comes into play. The patriotism factor comes, and there's a sense of belongingness, and a sense of, like, we feel proud. We have got a, such a like glorious history. We feel proud about it. Great to hear that. So coming back to our topic, like, what I was like, you have got a mixed range of topics. I guess some are related to, like, some are is a part of the 90s, some are part of the 2000s. We have got a mixed range of hobbies. What do you think? What are some of the hobbies you have seen in this late 20s, like which wasn't existing before, but you have seen in the late 20s, like maybe among your friends, or you have read something in news, or you have seen something with your family members. So, what are some of the new modern hobbies which have been cultivated by different students? Like, students have chosen this as their hobbies in their late 20s.
Hmm. By that question, I immediately think of two things. The first thing is podcasts. Those are like the really new types of the really how may I say it? The really new way of getting news. The really new
Yeah.
way of flowing information into yourself. Be it
Mhm.
podcasts, be it audiobooks, be it any form of audio. That's just how the ways it has become, and video as well. But one advantage of audio over video is that you can listen to audio while you're doing other work,
True,
and
true, true, true.
you cannot
Yeah.
do that the same with the video stuff. But I myself personally prefer to listen to audio without doing any other work, totally be into it, totally focus onto it. That's one really lovely thing that I know. And to the viewers watching this expressed ease as well, I would like to even recommend a few podcasts as well. You can I primarily use Spotify as my podcast player, so I definitely recommend you check out the Ranveer show. Ranveer Alabadia. He's like, as you and me are talking together about a specific topic, he talks this specific topics about Indian culture, be it finance, be it new age technologies, be it history, anything with the experts. So the viewers
Great.
get a lot of information into themselves.
That's great to know. That's great to know, probably.
And the other thing that I thought was, what did I think? Okay, you just continue. I'll just remember that and say.
Sure, sure, sure. No worries, no worries. So basically, thanks for the suggestion. By the way, I guess you have highlighted a good hobby of podcasting. So I will also add on to a factor with podcasting is blogging. I guess students, people have started video blogging. People have started capturing the live moments, capturing the, what I can say, enjoyable, playful moments. So people have started doing this as well. Like, a lot of students have gone into YouTube, Instagram influencers. They've tried to become influencers, real-time content creators. So yeah, maybe I can say, we can say content creation, real-time becoming a YouTuber, shooting a video blog, or shooting a podcast, doing podcast is like has become a new hobby, new age hobbies. So there are some good modern hobbies we have seen. And the suggestion which you have given about Ranveer, I love this. So thanks for the recommendation. Maybe the viewers can have a watch about it, and they can learn more about the details of Ranveer, I love this. So in the podcast, thanks for the suggestion. So probably you can, no doubt, you can share other modern hobbies which you think in the late 20s, in the later part of the conversation. So as you've seen, like as you've highlighted this podcast, so podcast didn't like it didn't existed. Like if we talk about audio books, if you talk about audio tunes, it got started with the iPod. Okay, the innovation of Apple. When the iPod came into existence, like people used to carry this, people used to carry this walker. Okay, people used to carry this walker to listen songs. Then the iPod came into play. Then smartphones come into play. Then we had, like, right now we have seen in some places in some households have seen this Saregama Karma. Okay, so like lot of audio devices has come into play, and it has evolved the what I can say, the spread of content. Okay, like apart from reading, apart from textual content, we are all into visual content, we are into audio content, we are into experiential content, like with the advancement of metaverse and world of Web3. So how do you think the hobbies have changed over the years? Like if you talk about the past years of, like, let's consider the 50s or 60s, how the hobbies have changed over the years. If you could give, if you cite some examples, or you can share a personal anecdote.
Okay, if you ask me about how the hobbies have changed, I will talk about what I have observed in the older generation and in the new ones.
Sure.
So, as I have seen in the, as I say, 90s kids, their hobbies, as they talk about what they did in their childhood. I'm not
Mm.
talking about what they are doing now. I'm talking
Yeah.
about what they did in their childhood. I can see that their hobbies were a lot more choice based. The not choice based, as I can say, it was a lot more based on responsibility. For example, we are listening. For example, I am listening to podcasts. I am reading books by my choice because I have some free time left with me.
Yeah.
But in those ages, managing your family, staying with your family, talking with your family, and being a part of the society, maintaining homeostasis, that is the basic essentials, getting good food, or probably the condition was not bad as I say, but you get the point of what I'm saying. It was a lot more responsibility based. They had to do it because they had to do it, and it would consume most of their time. Nowadays, as you can see, just because we have time left on us and we have the intelligence to choose, there's a lot more choices we can choose from the this of course does not mean that what they were doing were bad. I'm not gonna compare what they did back then and what we are doing now. There's no good or bad to both sides of it, but I can sure say that we are having a lot of more choices now. They did have more choices, but they had to do some of it as a responsibility, and we do most of it by our choice, by our passion, by our the need to do it.
Yeah, I guess that's completely true. Like you have identified a good problem statement, and you have good identified a good factor in a Indian society. So what I have seen in the changes in the advancement of ages, ki lot of students as of now are following their passion. They're following their passion. Like if they want to build up a career in music, dance, theater, drama, films. So they have got this liberty. They have got this privilege. Maybe I can say privilege or liberty. Like it wasn't in the cases of olden days. Like the parents were quite the parents were quite we can talk about our old grandparents. They were quite conservative. Okay, they were like quite rigid, and they were thinking of following a traditional or conventional path to go ahead with their career. So right now the things have been different. Like students have been like parents encourage the students to follow the passion, and also they built up their careers around this field. So that's a good point you have highlighted. So going ahead with this thought, Nikhil, do you think, like is there any hobbies you want to shout out, which are that are quite unique and no one is aware of it?
Okay, there sure are a lot more unique hobbies that exist now that surely did not exist a long time ago. Uh, so let's take an example, shall we? Okay. As I said, we make a lot more choices by our wish. So there's a lot more to explore. So as I, in my own experience, began exploring, I saw a lot of things. I, of course, I'm not. I only follow which I like, but there are a lot of things I saw that were unique to this generation. This generation is lot more based on soft thinking, as I would say. I don't think so that's the right word, but more or less that kind of way. For example, leadership, public speaking, those are some essential skills that will be needed for us, for my generation
Yeah.
right now,
True.
to sustain in the future. So
Hmm.
I think so those are some good hobbies that we should pick up right now, so that those will be a uh, that will be the standard when I grow up, when I am in the future. And they will be like the next generation ahead of me will be using all metaverse and stuff and thinking that leadership is the not the most important thing that they would need. But of course, they like that's a most fundamental thing of socializing, right? One would need a
Yeah.
leader, and the group members, they should collaborate, they should share their opinions, and they should get a work done. That's the basics of it. So that would be applicable to the future as well. As I said, so those are some soft skills that are really necessary today, that we didn't have back then. Back then we needed a hard skills, physical stuff to sustain. But now we just need soft skills. I can just sit in this chair 12 hours a day and make my income out of it. Anything can be monetized these days. That's the major difference that we can find. Literally, if you are even the most funny thing that I found is there's a trend called mukbang. You must have heard of it.
Not pretty sure, but yeah, definitely you can highlight about it.
Okay, yeah. So to the viewers seeing this as well, surely many of them have seen it. It's really a trend, like about a person eating a food of another culture or his own culture or something, and tasting it, showing the experience. It's basically food blogging, if that's the correct word
Okay.
for it. That's the
Okay.
other name for mukbang. But that would not be possible long time ago, right? Because long time ago they were just eating, that's just it. You are eating for your survival. But now
Yeah.
you can basically eat, show it to millions of people on the internet, and you
What
can
are you
earn.
eating?
Yeah, you can earn a lot of money out of it. I have seen a lot of those videos earning millions of views.
True, 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 true.
So yeah, monetizing anything right now is a big uh, factor that has changed the hobbies right now. So there's nothing to cite, like particularly that is new today, that did not uh, that is totally unique, because everything is basically unique nowadays. Everything
Yeah.
you can create a skill out of, everything you can monetize, everything you can make an income out of. That's just it.
True, 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 true. I guess there's some good points you have highlighted. If I got it right, like you mean to say ki the passion, the hobbies which students are cultivating right now, they are cultivating with a purpose, or maybe they're building up a business around it. They're building up a, what I can say, a small stream of revenue to just manage out the pocket expenses. So they're trying to build a model out of it so that they can benefit, also leverage that model. I guess that you mean, like how the culture, how the way of living life has also changed. Like as you highlighted the case, like when we get a dish, we are focused enough to eat that thing. We are focused enough to eat that thing. But right now, we go for a review, we take the pictures, we share our review as you mentioned about with our followers on social media, and also we discuss with the chef like how was the food made. So we go for a long process, and it has definitely changed. It has definitely changed the way we see life. I guess that's the thing we would be highlighting from this point of view. And children are much focused building up a passion, like building up the passion as their career. So we can say ki, right now students, whichever hobbies they take up, they are trying to build like, because they're taking it up as a hobby. So it means like they are passionate about it. So they are trying to build a career around their passion so that they can survive around that field. So that's the monetization aspect has come into play to survive with their hobbies, with their passion. That's a good point you have highlighted. So, like coming to the last part of the session, like this is quite important to know. Do you think the modern hobbies are more into the use of internet and technology intensive? So, what's the perspective on this era?
Okay, so there are a few hobbies that are really technology intensive and internet consuming. For example, a really good hobby that I myself have gotten into a bit is coding. I got exposed to coding. Yeah, as you can see in social media, it's a really big topic right now. You
Yeah,
can create anything out of coding. You can create a whole
true,
new world. You can
true.
stay in that world. That's a
At
whole
least,
new thing.
at least with the ads of Whitehead Junior, we got to know that thing.
Oh, don't even get me started about it. That's a whole new story. I'll leave that behind. Okay, so back to topic. As I was saying, coding is a really new thing that has started right now. That is really technology intensive. And It's not a really easy task as well, as much as people think about it. There's a lot of errors that can go around it. You can't just start coding like you are a professional or something. That's just
Yeah.
not possible. That does not work like that. So those are some technology. There's others as well. Everything revolves around technology right now. So DevOps, be it DevOps, cloud engineer, IoT, blah blah blah. All the stuff.
So
The
are these the
tools.
careers or these are the hobbies?
Okay, I'll just differentiate that right now. uh, these start out as hobbies. you know uh,
Okay.
these start out as hobbies. From my experience, I'm saying this. These start out as hobbies, and persons really interested in it go too much into it. That's the freedom that we generation get right now. We
Okay.
take our passion too much, and as you said, make a income, make a living out of it. That's, yeah. So these actually start out as hobbies, so I'm considering these whatever I said right now as hobbies. I did not go to the advanced stuff, making a career out of it stuff, no. So coming to your main question, as I was about to say, these are some of the technology intensive hobbies, and I do not intentionally consider them harmful or stressful, as you might say it. That's just how we take it. Because, okay, let's just say, in the old age, as I said, uh, they ate for survival. They ate for survival, and we now eat and share and stuff. But we still eat today. That's the basic fundamental human thing, right? We still eat. The ways revolving around it, the whole thing around it has changed a bit.
True.
So that's the same case here. The some of the old fundamental hobbies, I think so. I might consider reading a fundamental hobby that everyone must include, but I would not like to force anyone. But I
Hmm.
sure would want everyone to try at least once. Uh,
True.
so something like that. You get the point. There are some fundamental hobbies that are surely needed, that you must have to make your life at least a little bit spicy, as I might say. So these are all secondary. All the technology based hobbies, everything is secondary. You must keep your primary fundamental hobbies ahead of it, and you may add secondary, these technology based hobbies, everything behind of it. Then this won't be a matter to you unless you keep on these primary hobbies. Your health will be good, you'll be in a good body shape, you will be in the right mindset, you will be thinking the right things. Those
Yeah.
are the kinds of things. So unless that's happening, that fundamental limit is set, these
Hmm.
cannot affect you, as I like to say about it.
Great, and you said that there were some great points and you have highlighted. And as you mentioned, like as you have classified into fundamental hobbies and secondary technology-based hobbies, I guess that's a great takeaway to carry out. So that was completely great, Nikhil, and we got to learn not lot of perspective around the modern hobbies, like how the students of our age, like how the youngsters feel about the modern hobbies. What have they like? What is their perspective around it? What are the what is their take on the modern hobbies? Do you feel like the modern hobbies are harmful and stressful? I guess a lot of the questions we have got cleared, and in between also you have highlighted some great points and recommendations. I guess there was a lot to take away for our viewers for this session. So the viewers who are going to watch us in this session, it would be a great session for you because you have got some good takeaways from Nikhil. Yeah, Nikhil, you want to add something?
Yeah. I want to just add a last point, is that as we are talking about the hobbies of the older generation and the now generation, I would also like to talk about the hobbies of the next generation as well. A short uh, talk about it as well.
Sure, sure.
I think so. The hobbies of next generation is totally going to be based on luxury. A, luxury. B, design. And C, how you would say it as comfortability. Something sort of like that.
Comfortability. Okay.
That's not the right word, but sort of like that. We are moving away from the fundamentals and moving towards what you might consider optional as the important one. That's going to
Okay.
happen in the future.
I guess that's quite interesting to know. And as you said, ki luxury and comfortability, design are going to be the elements like are going to be the main focused where the hobbies are going to be evolving. That's like quite new to see. Let's hope for the best. Because it's always needed ki we should be attached to our roots. It's always needed ki we have to be attached to our roots. It shouldn't be like ki, we are cutting down our roots and going in a more off direction. So probably we should be hoping for the best and great discussion, Nikhil. So that's great to have you again on the board. Thank you everyone for who are watching, who are going to watch us. Who are going to watch this session. I hope you had a great takeaways from the session. Do mention in the comments your modern hobbies, like what are the hobbies you have. Do mention in the comments and stay tuned for the next episode of Express with Ease. Thank you, Nikil. See you guys. Bye.
Thank you very much, guys. Bye.